There are days when your alarm goes off and it feels like the whole world is asking too much of you. You open your eyes, stare at the ceiling, and every part of your body whispers, "Not today." You scroll for a bit, hoping it'll help, but it doesn't. You just feel heavier. You start to think about all the things you should do, and somehow that makes it worse. Because now it's not just exhaustion, it's guilt too. We live in this culture that glorifies being productive every second of every day. If you're not chasing goals, you're falling behind. If you're not hustling, you're lazy. But nobody tells you what to do when your soul just stops cooperating. When even the smallest things, brushing your teeth, sending a text, stepping out of bed, feel like climbing a mountain barefoot. Sometimes it's not about being lazy. It's about being tired in ways sleep can't fix. The kind of tired that comes from holding everything together for too long, pretending to be okay when you're not. Carrying expectations, yours, everyone else's, until you can't feel your own heartbeat under the noise. And if that's where you are right now, I need you to know something. You are not broken. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're human. And sometimes being human means shutting down, not because you don't care, but because you've been caring for too long without a pause. Here's something that changed everything for me. There's a difference between giving up and letting go. Getting up is when you stop caring. Letting go is when you stop trying to control everything at once. It's when you say, maybe today, all I can do is breathe, and that's okay. There was a time I hit that wall too. I remember waking up one morning, my room a mess, my phone full of unanswered messages, and just lying there. The thought of showering felt impossible. The thought of existing felt heavy. And then I told myself, okay, maybe I can't do everything today, but maybe I can just sit up. That was it, just sit up. And when I did, something small shifted. Not fixed, not healed, but shifted. Because even the tiniest movement, from lying down to sitting up, is still movement. When getting out of bed feels impossible, shrink the world. Forget the 5-year plan, forget the big vision board. Just focus on the next micro step. If you can't shower, maybe just wash your face. If you can't go outside, open a window. If you can't reply to messages, just send one emoji. It doesn't matter how small it seems. What matters is that you keep your heartbeat in the rhythm of, I'm still here. One of the biggest lies we're told is that healing has to be fast, that if you're not bouncing back quickly, something's wrong with you. But some wounds are deep. Some seasons of life demand slowness. There are chapters where the goal isn't progress, it's survival. And that's okay. You're allowed to exist in quiet. You're allowed to take time to come back to yourself. I remember reading something once. Rest isn't a reward for productivity, it's a requirement for being alive. And that hit me hard, because we've been taught that rest has to be earned. But that's not true. You don't need to deserve rest, you just need to need it. And right now, maybe that's exactly what your body's been trying to tell you. If your mind won't stop spinning and you're tired of fighting it, try this. Don't fight the thoughts. Watch them, like clouds passing by. You don't have to engage with every single one. Not every thought deserves your energy. Some of them are just noise. You can let them drift. On those hard mornings, remember this. There are people out there who would miss you deeply if you disappeared. There are moments you haven't lived yet that will make you smile in ways you can't imagine right now. And no, I'm not saying it's going to magically get better tomorrow, but I am saying that staying, even when it's hard, creates the space for things to eventually change. Here's a small thing that helped me once. I started naming my days, not by the day of the week, but by the feeling, like slow day, or heavy day, or breathe day. It reminded me that no feeling lasts forever, that every emotional storm eventually moves on. Some days you'll get up and crush everything. Other days, just getting up is the win. Both days matter. Both count. You don't have to be better every day. You just have to be honest with yourself. Some days progress looks like a sprint. Other days it's just taking one shaky step forward. That's still movement. That's still growth. Don't confuse consistency with perfection. It's not about never slipping. It's about never quitting. Show up messy. Show up tired. Show up unsure. Because the version of you that shows up anyway, that's the one that changes everything. And here's the thing, no one's tracking your timeline but you. You don't owe the world a highlight reel. You owe yourself patience. The grind isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent battles, tiny wins, deep breaths, and not giving in when no one's watching. That's real strength. That's real discipline. So keep showing up even when it's not pretty. Because one day, you'll look back and realize the days that felt like barely surviving were actually the ones that built you. There was a time when I thought if I stopped for too long, I'd fall behind. But what I learned was that sometimes stopping is the only way to keep going. It's like a car engine. You can't run it nonstop without refueling. And humans aren't built to run 24/7 either. If you're listening to this right now, lying in bed, feeling like the world is asking too much of you, I see you. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need to become a new person overnight. All you need to do is exist gently for one more day. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the beauty of being alive isn't in doing everything, but in still choosing to try, even when you don't want to. Because that right there is strength. Not the loud kind, not the motivational poster kind, but the quiet, unshakable kind that keeps you going through the worst mornings. Let's zoom out for a sec. Philosophers have been obsessed with regret forever. Soren Kierkegaard, for example, had this savage line, "You'll regret it if you marry, and you'll regret it if you don't." Basically saying, regret is inevitable no matter what choice you make, because every decision is also the death of an infinite number of other lives you could have lived. That's terrifying, right? But also kind of liberating. Because if regret is unavoidable, maybe the goal isn't to avoid it, but to choose it wisely. I still remember this one time when my friends invited me on a trip. Nothing crazy, just the weekend getaway. And I said no. I told myself I was too busy, I had stuff to do. But looking back, I don't even remember what I was so busy with. I just remember not going and regretting it for years. That moment taught me something. The things you say no to out of fear or laziness sometimes weigh heavier than the things you actually try and fail at. And I know you've got your own version of that story. Maybe it's the job you didn't take, the person you didn't confess to, the trip you kept postponing, the dream you told yourself you'd chase someday. And now you're wondering if someday is ever going to show up. Here's the truth. The fear of wasting your life is actually the doorway to living it fully. So if today all you did was wake up, listen to this and breathe, that's enough. If you haven't cleaned your room in a week, if your to-do list is untouched, if you feel behind in life, you're not failing, you're just living. And life isn't a race, it's a rhythm. Some days you sprint, some days you crawl, but you're still moving. I want you to promise yourself one small thing, that even on the days when your bed feels like the safest place on earth, you'll try to meet the day halfway. Maybe it's opening the curtains. Maybe it's sipping some water. Maybe it's texting someone, hey. Tiny steps are still steps. And if you ever feel like you're the only one struggling like this, you're not. So many of us are learning how to live inside tired bodies with hopeful hearts. You're not behind, you're not lost, you're just healing. And healing isn't a straight line. It's messy, it's slow, it's frustrating, but it's real. So tomorrow, when that alarm goes off and you feel that wave of heaviness again, remember this, you don't have to win the day, you just have to meet it. And if you made it this far, thank you for staying with me. If this spoke to you, if it made you feel seen in any way, drop a comment. Tell me how you've been feeling lately. Or what helps you get through mornings like this? I read every comment, and I love seeing how we're all kind of figuring it out together. And yeah, hit that like button. Now for the algorithm, but to help this video reach someone who might really need it right now. And if you want to keep walking through these kinds of thoughts with me, make sure to subscribe. We've got a lot more to talk about, the kind of things most people don't say out loud. You're doing better than you think. Rest if you need, cry if you need, but please keep going. Because your story's not done yet. And one day, you'll look back at this version of you, the one lying in bed listening to this, and you'll whisper, "Thank you for not giving up."